There's me on my training pitch next to Pep Guardiola. Giving him a few tips in his ear.
Yeah, you give it.
You should try this with make De Bruyne or a Trequartista. He'll be all right like that.
Demand more. Demand more. Shouts don't work. Sorry. I can imagine again. A lot of these players. Let's say there's a Griezmann. Many people in Atletico might not be playing this game, so he might be like one of us wanting to share his story.
Is there something wrong? Is everything all right at home? Obviously, Aaron's got his sort of angle, RDF Tactics. My angle is long-winded stories that ultimately end in failure. Your angle is more experiments than a GCSE science teacher. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the FM show. I am your host Tony Jameson, joined as always by the tactical mastermind himself, RDF Tactics, aka Aaron Falloon. And Aaron, once again we're joined by a fantastic guest.
Special guest.
A special guest. We're going to call Mr. 1 Million. And we'll get into that and explain why we're going to call him Mr. 1 Million as the show goes on. Everyone say hello to the one and only TomFM. Tom, how are you, pal? Are you well?
I am very well, thank you. Thanks for the introduction. How are you both? You both well?
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. We were just saying before we started recording, potentially coming down with a slight bit of cold, as you are as well. But other than that, grand.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Aaron, what about yourself? Where you at?
Yeah, I'm 100% match fit at the moment, so touch wood. Touch wood.
It's a bold statement early in the show, isn't it? I'm 100%.
Well, my condition, that's a different story. Football manager's taking all of my conditions, so I'm match fit, but the condition, it's a bit low. I need a rest.
You need a rest. Well, the thing is, I think Tom probably needs a rest, to be honest. Tom, you've been jet-setting all over the place this last few months, mate, haven't you? Do you want to give us a bit of backstory as to where your passport has been getting filled in?
Yeah, all sorts of places, actually, to be fair. Turns out travelling's quite tiring. I feel like I shouldn't be saying I'm tired from travelling, but because I'm doing all these nice trips and stuff and enjoying myself, but actually it gets a bit tiring. But yeah, I've been to the European Championships, got 3 games there to make a video about, which was cool. And then didn't record anything. It was more of a trip with my girlfriend. Went to Paris to the Olympics. That was good fun. And then I've been to a few Champions League games as well, as I'm trying to go to a game at every round of this season's Champions League, starting at the first qualifying round.
Wow. Okay, that's just for context there, Tom. You're jet setting all around the world. I still haven't booked my family holiday that's in 2 weeks' time. Right. So I know. Imagine that, Aaron, being young and free and being able to just get up and go about and do what they need to do.
Oof. Yeah, it is quite nice. I'm very lucky. I'm sure that will change in the next couple of years, which it won't be so much fun, but get it out of the way while I can. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's funny though because he does mention it does sound it sounds amazing because when he's telling us a story, we can only picture him there, but we don't picture the bits where he has to travel and he's carrying stuff and the journey. Because for me, sometimes I go places, even like the trip to London a couple of years ago to meet you lot. It's the way back on the train. It's just like all the fun was there, and I'm like, I've got to make this journey back. And you get home, it's like, it was fun, but I'm tired. And that's only just going to London, so I can't imagine going to all these other countries.
That's true. He's got to change the time on his watch and everything, Aaron. It's terribly confusing, isn't it? Yeah. So, you don't want all that extra stress, do you?
I don't even know
the watch changing is difficult.
But you know what though, Tom, right? You do deserve a break though, pal. You do deserve a break because you've been hitting FM content hard this past couple of years, haven't you? So we'll dial it back. Obviously, you are one of the full timers in the space, and I'm not going to tell the story. You tell the story. That your last couple of years have just been blowing up all over the spot.
Yeah, it's been a incredible couple of years, actually, I must say. So I must be full time. Is it 2.5? Just over 2 years now, probably.
2 years. I remember the tweet like it was like
I do as well.
Like it was recent. 2 years.
I feel like it has been 2 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now I say it feels like it's wrong. Either way, it's been a prolonged period of time.
I'll edit it if it's wrong. I mean, I won't.
It's been a prolonged period of time, being full time, and it keeps going from strength to strength, which is really good fun. So I guess people don't know. I started the channel when I was at university, just as a hobby, really. And then, things snowballed a little bit, and things are getting quite good, and you start to make a bit of pocket money on the side of it, basically, which is quite good. But graduated, got an actual job, just working in my local council in Lincoln, which is as boring as it sounds. And then, as the YouTube started to grow a bit more, I was like, oh, okay, this is earning a bit of money now. Let's drop to part-time hours at the council and do part-time YouTube. And then when the YouTube stuff was taking over how it was making the council sort of thing, I was like, right, let's take the plunge. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. The worst case scenario is it doesn't work out. I have to get an actual job again. So with that sort of mindset, I was like, okay, I can do it. And then since then I've not looked back. Best decision I've ever made. It's been so much fun. It's a dream job. It doesn't feel like a job. It feels like I'm cheating at life. That I get to play Football Manager, make videos about it, and that's how I earn a living, sort of thing. It just doesn't feel fair. But I'm lucky that I get to do it, and hopefully I can do it for as long as possible. Everyone on YouTube or the internet in general, right, has got a shelf life. At some point, someone younger, better looking, more relatable will come along and supplant me. So I've got to enjoy my time whilst I can. But yeah, the past FM24 has been mental. It's been such a great year of growth, and making just better quality videos every month on month, and insane number of views. I think every month's been at least 1.5 million views, sort of thing. So it's mental, really, when you think about the pure number of people that are watching, the views you're getting. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that, the idea, and I love the fact you're humble about it as well, going like, oh, the amount of people that are watching is crazy. But I mean, Aaron, we should really blow smoke, shouldn't we? Like, people are watching for a reason, aren't they? Let's be honest.
100%. They're not just randomly just clicking on it and just giving it a try. They're coming back. So the content it is amazing, man. You definitely deserve some props. So hopefully we can give you the flowers on the show today.
Oh no, I appreciate that, fellas. That's really kind of you to say.
Yeah, I like as well the fact that, because obviously Aaron's got his sort of angle, RDF Tactics there, and that's like his YouTube angle. My angle is long-winded stories that ultimately end in failure, right? Your angle is more experiments than a GCSE science teacher.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, it's just the sort of the niche I've sort of carved out for myself in that Football Manager space. It's really interesting, when people think Football Manager content, they probably just think you play through the game and like a Kev or Jack style Let's Play sort of thing. I think that's the first thing people sort of think of. But actually, there's so many different avenues to content that people can take through and do. The tactics side is one thing. I know Z does a lot of the tutorial side of stuff. I know there's a lot of guys sort of who don't have as many subscribers as they should do, but get really into the game, into the nitty gritty of it, and like explain the Python stuff. I can't remember the guy's name now who makes those videos, but using coding and stuff to that's such a cool little niche part of the game. So yeah, it's kind of an area that I've forged for myself, and I think I like to call it the entertainment sort of angle from it. I'm just trying to get someone to sit down for 20-30 minutes and just be entertained, as opposed to learning something or feel like they've got to properly engage in something. Like, it's just to sit back, relax, and enjoy it, or just have it to pass the time. I don't know.
Yeah, and without because the thing is, like, so what I get from it is your brain works very, very different to mine. Okay, and I can't come up with these scenarios, like, and I've had conversations with people about sort of like growing YouTube channels and stuff, and your name comes up a lot because it's like, well, something different, something fresh. It's like, it's what people are looking for, and it's like, and it just sparks a bit of conversation, a bit of debate, like, without sounding like the worst podcast interviewer in the world ever. Where'd you come up with your ideas from? Like, do you know what I mean? Because some of them are just wild.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a process. Every now and again I will go to just a coffee shop in Lincoln. I don't drink coffee. I can't stand it. But it just, I feel like I belong there with other people with laptops around me working. So I feel like it's a slightly different environment to the office. And I would just spend a couple hours there just writing down every single possible idea I could possibly come up with, typing things away. And a lot of them are awful, terrible sort of ideas that will never see the light of day. But for every 10 bad ideas, there's one really good idea, sort of thing. So that's one way of sort of coming up with ideas, and that works quite well. Another way is just looking at what other people and other niches are doing. You know, what's leading the way in FIFA right now? What's leading the way in that new college football game in America, the whatever it's called? What's leading the way in the NBA games and the other sports games around? What are they doing that works really well? How can I adapt that to a Football Manager audience, to the Football Manager game, for it to be successful? And so that's a really good way of doing things as well. I think you know, people think I can't just copy what other people are doing, and it's not directly copying. It's more like you take inspiration from something, you make it, you put a twist on it to make it work for your game, your audience. You know, and that's fundamentally how, you know, all the big creators sort of work. They all look at what works elsewhere. So it's a process of that. You know, I can't take credit, you know, and say every single idea is a completely 100% original, because it's not. You know, it's going to take influences from all sorts of other places, but to grow and develop and create the best content possible, you've got to look at what's working elsewhere.
I was going to say as well, does like one idea lead to another? Because sometimes I get into this mode that I don't really upload every day, but sometimes I get to this thing like I do one tactic, and then the next day I'm just playing on FM and like, okay, that worked last time, and then I'll just get like, and one idea just leads to another, and I just get into this momentum of just rolling. These ideas just come just like that. You just have these moments where everything just drops to you. Does that happen for you as well?
Yeah, exactly. You were making one video, and then halfway through it, you will,
literally,
you'll be like, I didn't consider this angle, maybe I'll try this. And actually the comments as well, a lot of the time people will say, that was a great video, why didn't you do this instead? And it's like, actually, that's quite a good idea. How can I use that and adapt that idea?
That's the difficulty I get, because I get that with you, but with me, I get like, oh yeah, she's doing a tactic with the manager of Olympiacos. I'm like, I can't sell that to people. Do you know? So yeah. But you do get, when people do come with content, so I had like one the other day on Twitter, sorry, and with the women's football, and he was saying, yeah, when it comes out, he's going to manage the men's team, and then he's going to have his wife manage the women's team. I'm like, that is definitely my idea for YouTube. I actually told him blatantly, I'm sorry, but I'm copying this. I'm sorry, but
exactly.
It's stolen.
You know, if it's a great idea and you know you can package it well and get a good title and thumbnail out of it, then, you know, you've got to do it. It works.
It's a lot of similarity with comedy as well. Like, you know, the subject matter is going to be fairly like similar. People are going to come up with the same ideas, the same for example, but it's just, as you say, of how you package it, what's your angle, how do you present it differently, and then what's your twist on it. Like, so out of the ideas that you've had, which ones are the ones where you like sort of go, oh, you know what, that idea was class, like I really, really loved making that video. And then with that as well, what's the one where you sit and go, I can't believe people didn't get behind that, because I genuinely thought that was going to be my favourite, because that's got to happen as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, one that I completely bombed recently was the European Championships video. I knew it wouldn't do quite so well on the grounds that, you know, people subscribe for Football Manager, they watch for Football Manager, they're not watching to watch me go to matches and stuff like that. Yeah. But it was a proven concept, 3 games in 3 days. There's a guy who makes NBA content called Jessa who does that kind of stuff for the NBA games, and like, you know, they bang millions of views. And I was like, I maybe set my expectations way too high, thinking I'm going to bang millions of views here. But it's like sitting on like 20,000 views or something, which is a lot of people. But like at the moment, I've been so lucky this past year in terms of content that if a video doesn't hit 100,000 views to me, I'm like, it's not gone quite so well. So for me, I was like, okay, learning to be done from that one. Obviously, it's not worked out quite so well. So there's, you know, stuff to take from that. But then again, the Gibraltar video, we went to the first qualifying round of the Champions League. You know, that's on 120 odd thousand views now. So I'm not quite sure why people love that one so much and not the Euros one.
Do you think it's the relationship with international football and Football Manager fans? Do you think there's something, or have you had international videos do well before? Because I feel like it doesn't matter if I could do a 4-3-3 and it will sell. The moment I put Gareth Southgate in it, it's like it's just the interest just is not really there for me.
Interesting. Yeah, it could be a slight international thing there. I just don't think, because the World Cup last time around in Qatar, that was really big for my channel. It was all Football Manager content. But, there were some huge views there for me at the time. It was a huge boost and spike of views and subscribers. The Euros just never quite have had that on my channel. Some other people just don't like the Euros as much, which I can understand. It's not as big an event, right? So, because a lot of the other videos that I did around the Euros on Football Manager, again, didn't do quite as well as I expected them to do. So it might just be the event wasn't quite so big, and it's not the content people are looking for. So again, you got to look at that, see what you can learn from it, and apply that into the future.
Is it as well about the fact that you're competing with a lot of similar stuff at the same time? So if you are putting Euros content out, you're competing with all the other people who are doing, we're playing the Euros, which again, I suppose if you're just doing Football Manager content, that's where people will jump in and have a watch of, we're just playing the Euros. And it is difficult, isn't it, to try and get that crossover with actual football, just Football Manager, like your stuff, like, you know, because it's not just TomFM makes Football Manager, it's also TomFM makes content. Like, and I get the issue you've come from, because I inadvertently posted, because I do like a football shirt show as well, and I posted a little video that I was going to put on my TikTok, and I posted it under my YouTube channel by accident, right? Okay, and it was showing like a fake video, and it had been on for a fake shirt. Sorry, it had been online for 7 minutes, and I'd already had one person go, "I don't care about fake football shirts," unsubscribing, and I'm like, right, okay, I've really misjudged this, haven't I?
Yeah. You will never find anyone more fickle than the person who is commenting things like that on YouTube. Like, you know, they'll just. You can never please those sorts of people. No. So as soon as anything happens like that, it's funny. You know, you've got to sort of just learn to laugh at it.
So with the experiments, then let's focus on this, because this is the bit that I find really interesting. Okay, because Aaron, I don't know what you do, but I've never touched the editor. Like, I'm barely allowed to touch loading skins into my game. Like, I have to be like, I have to be supervised at all times when I'm doing anything remotely technical, right? So opening up the editor, Tom, that to me looks like where I'm about to destroy my game. How do you not do that?
A lot of trial and error.
I was going to say.
Because it is the most frustrating thing to use in the world. It is. It just doesn't make sense. You know, you think you're doing the right thing, and it turns out you're doing the wrong thing. You know, you'll try and add a league or something like that, and it suddenly says, you know, you can't do that because now there's 83 new referees or something like that. And it's like, what? I didn't touch referees. You know, it's bonkers. So a lot of like Googling stuff, and like, you know, there's people in the past who put like on forums and stuff how they do things. And also there's a lot of people who are very experienced with the editor that I can reach out, ask a question to every now and again. And say, how do I do this? And they're like, it's complicated. Here's how you do it, sort of thing. So there's a lot of nice people around that help me out with that as well.
By yourself, Aaron, are you in the same boat, just like frustrating, or?
Well, I don't really use it. So I remember I was talking about this on stream. So ever since like playing FIFA as well, FIFA and Football Manager, when the transfer window was open, I would sit there every morning doing the transfers of the day, because my game has to be updated. The moment, like, I'll be playing a save, and if there's a big transfer, I'm like, my game's a bit old now. So that's how it feels. So I used to, luckily now, over the last couple of years, I just go to sort it out, and they've got a daily update, so I just do it. But there was like a couple times, like last year or so, when I'll do it now. So I'll scout a player in real life. So that's sort of been my videos recently. I'm scouting players in real life, and I'm putting them into the team in Football Manager. But yes, sometimes I'm like, I want to put this player in, and I play FM a little bit. I'm like, nah, I don't really like this. So I try and take him out. But sometimes it's weird. You've got like applied, unsaved, change. I don't know what is going on sometimes. But yeah, and then I will save it, go back into the game, and now I've got both players. I've got the one that I didn't want, and I've got the one I wanted, and I've got to go back again, try and remove the old one. Yeah, it's a bit of a headache for me. And that's just the simple things, just adding players and taking out players. That's the simple things, and yeah, it's a bit difficult for me. It's not how it used to be anyway. I remember it used to be pretty easier for me.
I mean, you've not sold me on using it. I'll be honest. If anything, you've kept me
I wouldn't
much
use
further.
it. Now I'll just use Sort It Out. Sort It Out SI does all the work, the hard work for me. You download that and there's like 20,000 in the folder, and they've done everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's happening then, Tom, right, and that's just for moving one player from a club to a club, why do you then spend presumably more than 8 minutes changing all of the Premier League teams in the non-league, or changing all the players from one country into another country, and all the money goes all over the place? Is there something wrong? Is everything all right at home?
I just like to live in a fantasy world, really, where I can control everything like a puppet master or something. That's what it must be, really. I don't know. Once you get used to it, it kind of doesn't take too long to swap those kind of things around. But yeah, like trying to set up the databases to start off with for like the Euros and trying to change it to like you have all the teams that haven't qualified for it, for example. Like that, it's such a ball ache to try and work that out. To the point where I couldn't do it. I asked someone else if they knew how to do it, and they said, "Oh, I can just do it quickly for you." So they did very kindly.
I could just do it quickly for you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. After I spent about 2 hours trying to work out how to do it, and I was just going around in circles. It took him like 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about the stuff that you've done. I mean, obviously we've mentioned there about sort of like flipping teams around, sort of flipping like the leagues around, flipping like players into like releasing everyone from the Premier League and stuff, and going mad. Like the one that I found interesting, and Aaron and I were talking about this the other week actually, was the Surinamese team.
Oh yeah, dual national, yeah.
The dual nationality save, which I thought that was a nice angle. That was a really, really nice angle. Going like, all these players could play for Suriname, and how far do they get? Because you probably wouldn't necessarily consider second nationalities, but you were like, I've got this one. Well, this one.
Actually, I'll be honest, I think that might have been second day Carver did that video.
I will cut that there and start again.
It was a really good idea, though. I really wish I did it, but I saw him do it, and I was like, oh.
Because it's a certain news. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the dual national video, but
I'm going to blame part of this on getting called. Which one's this guy? Who's this guy?
Yeah, that's the dual national video.
He just makes
I'm pretty sure we
videos,
already spoke about that 1 second, about 1 second yellow card, because we're talking about your save, the Scotland thing.
It was the Scotland save we talked about.
Yeah, so you was talking about, I was like, yeah, the dual nationality one, yeah.
Right, Aaron, you take over. I'm going to research this kid. Who's this Tom? Let's see what he's got. Right.
Oh, man.
Talk us through your ideas, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. One amazing over 30s player from every country. That's a good idea. That's just dropped today.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good fun one. It's spin the wheel, and whatever the country lands on, you got to pick a player from that country's over 30 to build a team with.
But there is one thing, so sort of with the YouTube comments as well, because sometimes you could just get YouTube comments. How long does it take you to create these videos? Because I don't think that there's no way viewers really understand how long it can take a creator just to get one video out.
Yeah, days. Easily days. And it's the editing. That's what takes the time. Well, yeah, the editing. I mean, I guess the playing through it, if you're doing a rebuild, that takes a bit longer going through and scripting things out. I script out every video fully as well. So that takes a bit of time to write it all up. But it's the editing that takes the time. And really what I need to do is hire an editor. But I am such a control freak. And like, I feel like, if it's not exactly how I need it, then it's going to be wrong and terrible. I don't know. So I need to sort of get over myself, really, when it comes to that, and just hire someone. But also, it's quite difficult to find an editor who, one, is up to the level that I need them to be, two, knows Football Manager, and three, has a good idea of the sort of scene and how I make videos and my sort of style sort of thing. So I mean, that's just a mammoth task that I think I'm probably just trying to hide away from, really.
But it's true, I've got that as well.
And then, of course, paying them. You've got to pay these people as well. And that's a huge
a profit, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I like money, so I don't want to give it away.
For me, it's just difficult because I'm just like 4-3-3, blah blah blah, and it's like, right, the editor sort of has to understand football as well, because he's got to do the tactical board and the movement, so he's got to really understand this. And if I've got to actually type out all these things, I may as well just edit it. This sort of thing. That's where I'm at as well. So I'm just gonna edit it. Cause I've got this worry as well that similar to you, that the whole vibe of what your videos were before, they're just gonna change to what the editor thinks it should be, sort of thing.
I think as well, yeah, you're also hoping that can you get your vision across that they understand it as well, because if it doesn't, then you don't want to be like, yeah, that's not what I wanted. Like, then they're like, well, that's what you said, and it's like, well, I didn't mean those words. Like, I meant different words.
Scared.
You know,
I think I'm a little scared that what he thinks is actually the better way. So I think I don't like myself being put out in that sort of way, if that makes sense.
Oh, I used to get that with like when we did like press shots for Fringe Festival and stuff. Like, I don't like getting my photograph taken. I'm not a fan of it at all, right? So I'll have like my stock, like sort of, for it, like that's my pose sort of thing, right? And then I always say it because they're like, oh, we have to have an image of you laughing. I was like, well, you're going to have to make me laugh and take the picture because I can't stage laugh, right? So whatever happens, whatever picture they pick is not one that I'd go for because I can't pick them because I'm like, that looks weird. I'm like, you just pick a picture that go with. But at that point, you've got to put your trust in that person. But it's very different with a video to edit because you kind of want... So you want longevity, ultimately. So the videos have got to look pretty similar as you keep going. You can't have one video that's all like sort of really sort of like quick cuts high and quality, like sort of transitions all over the place and that, graphics flying in and out. Then the next one is a bit more sort of like laid back and moody and arty, and because it's just going to jar a bit, isn't it? And I guess if you're working towards a specific style, Tom, then that's what you're after, really, isn't it? And so you might as well do it yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of been my thought process on it, really. And actually, it's only been the past couple of months, really, where I've been travelling around a bit thinking, it'd actually be really handy to have an editor to sort of get some of the late nights back sort of thing. But it's the whole YouTube thing, it's one whole creative process for me, and I quite like having control of that creative process and, expressing myself in a way. I know it's a bit of a weird way to say it. I'm not like it's like I'm painting the Mona Lisa or anything like that. But the whole, process is a creative process that I really enjoy doing the whole thing, coming up with the ideas and then recording it, scripting it and editing it and thumbnails and putting it all out there. I enjoy that whole process. It's why I've been doing it for so long. And I guess an extension as well, I mean, maybe it does make me sound slightly arrogant on the way, but like I've been editing videos now for 7 years. At this point I feel like I'm actually pretty good at it. And so if I'm going to hire someone in to do it, I need them to be better than me. And again, that's not the easiest thing to find as well, to be fair, who has that sort of, who can edit better than me but also understands, what I said earlier, football manager and the vibe sort of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're in a similar position ourselves as well. Obviously, my background's film production. So I used to teach film production, so I can edit pretty quickly. I know what I'm doing, but I've got no idea when it comes to making a TikTok. Because that wasn't about when I was teaching. So I can edit stuff together pretty quickly. I don't, obviously, because I've got 2 kids now as well. But I couldn't. It takes me forever to... Aaron, I'm texting all the time going, what are we going to use as a clip? Because this is what I'd use, but I don't think that's what people want to see. That's just what I think's good. So that's the difficult bit as well, isn't it? Of how do you then target and hit the masses? Yeah,
100%. It's trying to have that good understanding as well of knowing what's going to work. A lot of what I'll script and record, I will end up cutting things out as well. And it's knowing what to cut out as well. I feel like if potentially I'm starting off to work with someone.
I'm shaking my head because you need every single bit of detail, and I will over egg the pudding. These videos could be 87 minutes long just for me to play one match because you need backstory. That's what you need.
All I'm trying to do really in the video is get across what I want to say in the most efficient and entertaining way possible. And I often feel like if I start rambling around things a little bit, it just takes away from the flow of the video. And if I'm not constantly presenting new information, then it gets a bit stagnant, sort of thing. So, that's why a lot of stuff will get cut out. But again, would the editor know which bits to sort of cut? It's such a complicated thing, and maybe I'm overthinking it way too much. I probably am. If I spoke to some of the guys in the scene who have got editors, they'd just tell me to get over myself, I'm sure. But it's
there was definitely I think you got a point, but there will definitely be there's definitely a editor out there for you, but it's just finding that right person, I guess. But there's definitely someone out there for me. I have had someone edit my videos. The same thing, you just take a shot at anyone. They said they can do it. I got it back. I'm like, literally like 10 seconds in, I'm like, definitely not, definitely not. So yeah, but there's definitely going to be someone out there for it.
Yeah, it's just about finding them, and I'll get there eventually.
And if they are listening to this and they are reasonably priced, then do get in touch with all of us. And don't get in touch with Second Yellow Card. We don't need him. Right? Just our thing, really.
Oh my god.
But I mean, to be fair, but Tom, though, your CV looks pretty impressive because, as we've said at the start, Mr. 1 million views, not for a channel, but for one specific video.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. And it's a real accident how that kind of happened, really. Because it's, I hit 1 million views on how I completed the hardest challenge in Football Manager full movie. It's the Pentagon Challenge, but essentially, I did the Pentagon Challenge as 5 individual videos, one video per continent. And then I thought, actually, it was more like, I think Amiga Luke said to me, that's what I was thinking of, but Luke said to me, just do it, just put out all of these 5 videos together as one compilation.
Yeah, because I saw him do it. Yeah, I saw him do it, and then he was shocked as well by his results as well. And it's just like...
these long form videos have done really well this year. I know the general YouTube vibe is keep it short, but there has been a few of these long form videos that are doing real good numbers, and obviously you've been able to prove that they do very, very good numbers, really, if you know what you're doing. I guess for people who don't know what the Pentagon Challenge is, though, Tom, do you want to quickly explain what that is, first of all, and then we'll explain how you made this mammoth?
Yeah, sure. So the Pentagon Challenge is you've got to win the Champions League in Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, South America. Simple as that, really, but you've got to start down at the very lowest sort of ranking. So you have your, no coaching badges, Sunday League reputation sort of thing, and it's just trying to find a job anywhere. And then you start to build your way through the ranks, get to the top clubs, and then you can start to move around. So actually, the first few seasons are a bit difficult, but once you get into the flow of things of being at bigger clubs, it does get a bit easier as things go along to get those bigger jobs.
Yeah. So where did the story start then? Where did you the journey begin?
So the journey began in Morocco's 3rd division with Tihad Athletic, I think they're called.
I know them well.
I could be lying to you. That might be the team I moved to then win the African Champions League with. Either way, I stayed in Morocco for the entire African leg, moved a couple of clubs, and then won it with them in 4 or 5 seasons. It must have been 5 seasons. It was pretty quick, actually. Quicker than I thought it was going to be.
And is that with downloaded additional leagues as well? Because obviously when you get the original database, there's very, very few, isn't there, in particular in Africa, and Asia's not got too many as well.
Yeah, if you want to do it vanilla, I think the only league in Africa is South Africa. Yeah. So I downloaded, I think it was like Morocco and Egypt and a couple others as well.
Yeah.
And then I downloaded a few more for Asia as well, just to help out there. But then I think I kept it pretty vanilla for the other continents as well, because my plan was to start with Africa and then sort of move around to maybe North America or Asia, and then save Europe and South America for last. So by that point, where I was winning Champions Leagues, getting a job at like a club in England or Brazil or something like that would be much easier.
And is there a nation that really stood out for you that you really, really enjoyed, or a nation that you really hated?
I got stuck in Mexico for quite a long time, actually, winning the North American Champions League. I think I got to the final like a couple of times, or it might have been like losing the league title on like the last day a couple of times. I mean, this is back in like February, January sort of time now, so it's stretching my memory a little bit, but I do remember getting caught in Mexico for quite a while. I did quite enjoy managing in Japan, Cerezo Osaka. That was good fun, actually. The sort of the hero of the sort of journey ended up being this South Korean regen called Moon. I can't remember his first name now, but his surname was definitely Moon. And he ended up sort of staying with us in South Korea and then came along to Japan with us. And then we had him on loan in Mexico for a season because he got a big move to Saudi Arabia at some point in the save. And then I got him on loan one season when he wasn't playing. But when I tried to sign him, like in Saudi Arabia, he was on like £250,000 a week.
Yeah.
And, I couldn't fund that at Club America in Mexico. So we didn't quite get him to come along with us on the whole journey. I think by the time we got to like the Premier League clubs, he wasn't good enough. Sadly, but he was a bit of a hero, sort of coming around helping us win a few things.
See, this is what I like. I love the whole bit where you take a player with you on a journey. Difficult in Aaron to save, obviously, because the saves are normally done by lunchtime. But
to be fair, I've got this Roma save is lasted its time. It's time.
Oh yeah. You started last week and you're still on it. Well done. That's brilliant.
Something bad did happen as well. I was on the forum sites and I saw a new idea and I'm just like, oh, you guy, don't do that to me. So now I am thinking of a new idea, but I am stuck in Rome for now. Where this is the first save where my son's understood what's going on a bit too much now, because it's a bit annoying because he just walks around downstairs saying "Jala," and I'm like, he doesn't even play for Roma in real life. But he's like there was one morning I'm just like laying down and I'll put it on my Twitter as well. I was like, I thought I was dreaming. I just heard Sule, run with it, shoot Dovbik. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's just him down the hallway, just playing with his football. So now anywhere in the house, it's just Sule and Dovbik. That's his two favourite footballers. And yeah. Even my daughter's coming up to me and like, is Jordan Pickford in your team? I'm like, what are you not talking about? What is going on?
Jordan Pickford at Roma? That's a universe.
My son's teaching her, madness. So she's just walking around saying Jordan Pickford for no reason. Just saying, I know. She said, Jordan Pickford, I know. So that's what's happening in my save.
I don't know.
Yeah, she knows. I don't know if I should say know something about Pickford. I don't.
Is that quite a surreal moment when your kids are coming up to you talking about your Foot Manager saves and stuff like that?
Yeah. So now I feel the pressure to keep it going, because every time he comes to the screen, he's expecting to see the Roma colours and stuff. So yeah,
okay.
I was even looking at the Roma shirts, and I got a bit upset with Adidas because with his size, you can't get the name, you can't customize it, and he will not accept a Roma shirt without Sule on it. So yeah, that's our mission at the moment. Oh man. And he also said that Dovbik looks like Zinchenko, and I looked at him, I was like, mate, that's a bit, they're both Ukrainian. Where have you learned that from? Just randomly said Dovbik looks like Zinchenko, and I was like, fair play, mate. They look very different, but fair play.
I love the innocence of kids like that, though. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, ours I've said before, ours aren't really sort of like into football. They don't really watch it or whatever, like, because it's not really on in the house. They only ever sort of like see me play FM if like they wake up in the middle of the night and I'm streaming, so they'll come down and like so they'll just quickly sort of pop their heads up and they'll wave and go, oh hello, there you go in the pajamas and that. And the eldest's only bit of tactical knowledge he has so far is sprint run goal. So I was like, you know what? He's a man. He's a simple man. He knows what he's on about. But he did win 6-1, so I think he does know what he's talking about. So.
He sounds like a 4-4-2 over the top Brexit style. Yeah. Big man, little man pace.
I mean, I say he doesn't watch much football. He watches football from the 90s with his dad. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the mixer.
Football.
That was his first words.
Oh man.
I've enjoyed it. So what else we got then, Tom? So we've got these rebuilds, experiments. Like, let's talk about this sort of this real world stuff as well that you've got going on with the channel. And so trying to get there to every Champions League match. I mean, that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah, more so than I probably thought, because I've had real issues getting tickets for the third qualifying round, let alone, something like the quarterfinals or semi-finals. So that's going to be fun when it gets to that point. But I'm hoping it sort of picks up a bit of traction at that point where I'll have a few sponsors willing to sort of, say, oh, we've got tickets, do you want to come along to this sort of thing when it gets to those later stages.
So where did that idea come from then? What was the rationale with that? Was it FM based, or was it just Tom Travel based, or was it just this will be fun?
All three probably, really. I've had for a while, I want to keep growing my YouTube channel as long as possible, really. And so, I want to hit 1 billion subscribers at some point. That's part of my goal. And is Football Manager going to get me 1 million subscribers? It might do. FM25 could take off, and that could be, wow, insane. It could be bigger than FIFA or something like that. Or EAFC as it's called now. But also, I think, actual football has got a much broader appeal than Football Manager does. Football Manager's a small niche of football sort of thing. So just trying to sort of, spread my wings a little bit and see what I can do in other sort of areas and see what works. You know, it's a new challenge for me. You know, obviously I love making Football Manager content every day, but you know, it's a little bit, you know, it can get a little bit stale and repetitive sometimes. So having something to break that up a little bit with a different style of content is always good fun. You know, it's a new challenge, different change, keeps me more sane. So yeah, a bit of everything really, I suppose, in that regard. And then it just seemed like a really cool, fun idea, trying to get to a game at every round of the Champions League. And one of the things I love in Football Manager is when you maybe like you've taken a team from, you know, a couple of leagues down and you finally hit Europe and you have to go through those first sort of qualifying rounds. And every time it happens, a new team comes up that I've never heard of before. And I'm like, I did not know this team existed or you were any good, sort of thing. So I love the qualifying rounds so much, and I think of the whole, you know, journey, it's going to be my favourite part doing these games. So yeah, that's kind of where it all sort of came from, amalgamation of things really. But it's been good fun so far.
Okay. Well, I think let's think about that. We'll maybe expand upon that a little bit more in the Patreon bit after we've done our main chat, because got a few little questions that I think we need to really delve into with that side of stuff. Particularly when it comes to where'd you go? How did you get tickets for a Lithuanian side? Like that I want the logistics really. I can't bog us down in this because we've already said if we don't talk Football Manager, people get angry. So let's get back onto this. That's what they do, Aaron. That's the thing. Like, you know,
people being people.
I've tried talking about my life. I've tried talking about my cold. No one's bothered. They want to get back and go, ask more about Football Manager, ask Tom about things. So we're gonna come up. So ideas. Is there a one that you've had that you go, you know what, this is gonna be brilliant, but it just physically can't be done right now? Is there anything that's on the back burner that you're like, oh, when I get round to that? Because context basically, comedy. I'll maybe have come up with a great idea for a joke 5 years ago or something, right, or a routine 5 years ago, but I'm not skilled enough to write the full routine at that point or to do it justice, so it stays in the back burner. And eventually you go back to it and you finish it off, or you've got a good routine. 5 years down the line, you think of an even better ending to that, and it becomes a different piece because it then goes on somewhere else. Is there anything in the back burner at the minute where you're like, maybe it's a 25 video, maybe it's a 26 video, maybe if I get a collaboration with someone, then this really blows up?
Yeah, I guess it would be more the collaboration side of things. You know, as you get more subscribers, more views, you know, doors open and stuff like that. So I would love to do, you know, videos with actual footballers and things like that, whether that is, you know, playing Football Manager. It'd be more likely, you know, doing real life stuff.
That's the trouble, yeah.
I'd love to do, you know, videos where it's like I become a real life Football Manager for 24 hours, and it's like, you know, shadowing, you know, a Premier League Football Manager or something like that. You know, there's me on my training pitch next to Pep Guardiola. I'm giving him a few tips in his ear.
You should
try this with make De Bruyne or a Trequartista. He'll be all right like that.
Demand more. Demand more. Shouts don't work. Sorry.
Wait for the ball to go out of play, and then I'll shout it. Yeah.
Cancel that.
Yeah, so it would be more of those sort of real life things that I'd like to do a bit more of in the future. But again, to do those justice, I'd need a bit more of a production team. You know, someone to actually dedicate it, film it, sort of thing. Yeah. And, you know, because it's difficult doing all that on your own in person. You know, from the bits that I've done, you know, even going to like the Euros games with my mates, sort of thing, and you know, having the camera and the mics on us, which is difficult to get to stadium in the first place, it gets a bit stressful actually trying to just make sure everything's working properly and having someone else to sort of help with that. So a bigger production team would need for that sort of thing, but yeah, and more contacts because I need to actually like get better at networking, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the sort of stuff I'd like to go a bit more into the future with, and they're sort of like bigger ideas.
Yeah, it's definitely a stress thing, isn't it? If you're running around and you're in Paris or wherever, or Germany, and you're like going, this mic, is this recording? Is this sound okay? Because you get back home and you're like, we've just wasted our one shot at this. This is like, you want that to be someone else's problem, don't you? You want someone to blame if that doesn't go right.
Exactly, yeah. It's there's nothing worse than than recording something, thinking, okay, we've got it, and then you listen to it and the audio is rubbish, or there's a train in the background or something like that, and it ruins the whole audio, and it doesn't sound great. So
yeah, we've had that before. But you mentioned about maybe real life opportunities. Aaron, did you see on Twitter today? Tom is connected more closely to Lincoln City than ever before.
Yeah, I was just going through Twitter, and then just, this is happening. So I just sent it straight to the WhatsApp group. It's like, yeah, we've definitely got to talk about this today as well. Yeah, that is pretty interesting as well. Just being the sponsor of a football team.
Yeah, it's really cool actually. So with women's football coming to FM25, I did think it'd be a good opportunity to try and do something with the two Lincoln clubs, Lincoln City and Lincoln United. And so I reached out to them and said, explain it's coming to Football Manager 25 women's football. Is there something available to sponsor the clubs with? And it just seemed like a really good opportunity to sort of develop my links to those clubs a little bit, for slightly selfish reasons in terms of it'd be great to do some videos with Lincoln City and United at some point, but also because they're my local clubs that I support. I want to help excuse me, help them out as much as I can, sort of thing. So it's quite aptly, I love this. I am the women's team managers sponsor. So not a player or anything like that. I'm the manager's sponsor, which is really cool for the women's team at Lincoln United. And then it's not been announced yet, actually, by Lincoln City, but I am a bronze partner for Lincoln City Women this upcoming season, which is, again, it's slightly different. It's how they name things, sort of thing. But yeah, sponsoring both the city's women's teams, which is really fun.
That's awesome.
Maybe Ken told the manager about the chocolatista after all.
Yeah, I maybe could do. I maybe could.
Just go in and just go, look, we're going to talk, because if we're not, that bronze sponsor is going. Right? So it's up to you, really. I'm an investor in the club now, so I have a say.
Exactly, yeah. I've got vested interest as the stakeholder, yeah.
I think it'll be cool, though. I do, and I think as well that some clubs are slightly more into playing up to this as well, a little bit, and getting on board with the content side of things. I guess, it helps if you've got a decent following, a good back catalogue of content. They know that you're going to come in and you're not there to take the piss. I mean, I was fortunate with Blythe Spartans that I kind of was taking the piss a little bit, but they were still all right with it. And sort of from there, but then you've obviously got people like White Callum recently, we've said has had a bit of an opportunity with Slough, and then the lad who won the Xbox challenge, getting an actual job at Bromley, which again is like
Lelujo as well a couple of times.
Lelujo, gets loads of great things, and I think the world is opening up a little bit for those sorts of things, but I think it needs the right club, the right person, and the right message, I suppose, really. And I guess if there's an option for you to do that, Tom, people couldn't say no to you, surely.
Well, you'd like to think so. I never, just assume that people want to work with me because I've got a bit of a profile online. It's I've got to be lucky and it's got to align, sort of thing, for it to sort of work out. But it's something I'd love to do in the future. Properly work with clubs and make content with them, and sort of utilise that, because as someone who's properly in the YouTube space, I see it as a way that benefits both parties. Sort of thing.
I was just about to say that, as creators, sometimes it is frustrating because you can see a vision. It's like it's an opportunity for you. There's no negative. You can't. It's just weird. Yeah. Sometimes as a content creator, you have these ideas and it'll just be so cool, and both parties win, and there's really no negative about it as well. Obviously, it depends on who's doing the content and whatnot, but it is weird because. Again, the other content creators I've spoken to as well, it's the same idea. Sometimes they just get told up straight no. Sometimes they'll obviously get a reply. And sometimes you do get that, we'll speak later, and just don't get that message back. But I actually got approached by someone I don't know if it is at Cheltenham, but someone by Cheltenham. But it was something similar to do with YouTube, and it's for me, it's similar to you. It didn't make sense because there was no, it's just going to be me. There's no production to it. It wasn't bringing anything new. It was just that felt like we were just taking an opportunity because you're Cheltenham. I've got obviously a decent following in the Football Manager community, so we're just going to do it rather than actual trying to create something And that's where I think a lot of creators' heads at. They want to create something big, and there's going to be an opportunity from it. But hopefully it happens with you and Lincoln, because that's your hometown club as well. So that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, it would be a dream to do something with them kind of stuff. I've kind of proposed little bits in the past, but we'll see if anything ever comes of it.
Yeah, something big.
But at least it'd be cool to do some videos with some of the players. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should be fine. I'm sure you'll get there. I mean, we did daft stuff with Odds Ball Club in Norway, which is a really bizarre thing to happen. That came off the back of them being in a stream, and all of a sudden I'm doing a press conference in Norwegian, which doesn't make no sense at all.
I think it was Bristol. Oh no, I don't want to say the wrong one. Bristol Rovers. It was them that was. At one time I was doing a stream with them, and then next minute they was just retweeting it. I was like, what is going on there? Like, we've never spoken to it. We don't even follow each other, but they all just kept retweeting it. So it was like, sometimes some clubs can see the opportunity, or whoever's handling their social posts can see the opportunity with it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times that's where the little not disconnect, but the trouble is where obviously the younger or whoever's doing the social media, they may be able to see the opportunity, but then obviously they're not the ones with the final decision, which is obviously a bummer.
Exactly. I think there's probably a lot more that goes on behind the scenes that, like, I think a lot of it would be like image protection, like,
image,
not that any of us ever would, but suddenly if someone says something, untoward, and then suddenly they're associated with it, and it's like a big backlash for the club. I can see why they want to protect themselves and stuff, like all that kind of stuff.
100%.
It's quite a risk for them, I'm sure. A lot of the time.
It's literally the reason why, like, sometimes when I go a bit OTT with my rages on Twitch, I literally remove the VOD every single time. If it's on camera, I'm pulling that.
Oh, it's a good decision. I should probably do the same for myself. I'll just take that YouTube channel down.
I do it all the time, man. Whenever I see myself getting too much, I'm like, as I'm doing it, I'm like, I'm just going to let myself go. And then straight away that stream's gone, pull that VOD. I ain't letting no one see that.
See, I put the blanket in there of comedian. That'll probably cover that. That's almost as good as saying allegedly, I think.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that is quite a nice thing to put on there, actually, yeah.
I'm not legally trained, so I don't know if it is quite the get out that I hope it is, but...
Allegedly, I heard it is.
Yeah, exactly. That perfect. Right, we're sorted. Absolutely sorted. Oh man, like, you know what? Like, you've said there as well about getting to work with footballers and that. We get this all the time. Like, we keep asking this sort of patrons and viewers and that, going like, "Oh, who do you want us to work with? Who do you want us to get onto the show to talk about?" And they all go, "Footballers, football managers." And it's like, yeah, you know that they're quite hard to get hold of, right? Like someone was desperate for us to get Antoine Griezmann on a few months ago, going, "You can get Griezmann." And we're like, "It's the middle of the Euros. I think he's busy." Like,
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
you just need that opportunity when the player wants it, don't you? Yeah, when the player wants it, that's when it's a bit like Connor Washington, right? It's like he wanted to be a part of it, so it was like that was a little bit easier. Whereas if you're trying to approach someone and trying to take their time, it's like, it's difficult.
But I get it though, because like you look at even this week at time of recording, like Football Manager have managed to send off a whole bunch of Instagram DMs to footballers who've responded with their best moments, which it's what we all want to see, isn't it? We want to be able to have the conversations with the real footballers who still play the game, because it just adds... Does it legitimise what we do? Like, as just players, as fans of the game, to be like, well, you know what? They're playing it as well, therefore it's all good, isn't it? We're cool. We're the same as all these professional footballers who like have... I can't begin to I've already gone. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know why people love it so much.
For me, I would definitely say there's some validation to it. Because again, this stems back to like when I was younger, and it was like, to play Football Manager, you're just seen as this nerdy kid or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So for me, it was a bit more like, oh, if there was a different cool person playing this game, it would slightly change the perspective of someone's thinking, I think so. But also just get a little bit closer to footballers, To get a little bit closer to footballers. I think sometimes people just feel a bit distant to footballers, I don't know. They want to just know the ins and outs of a footballer, the person, which sometimes...
100%. I think people want, something relatable, don't they? And, if people can relate to Antoine Griezmann playing Football Manager, that makes you feel closer to that sort of idol on a pedestal, right? Yeah. So I think there's definitely something in that. Yeah.
Who would be the one then if you were like, oh, I love the fact they play? Like, what would be the one that would just like tip you over the edge? And what style of save game do you reckon they'd have?
I love the idea of like Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe like competing in real life for Ballon d'Ors, but also in Football Manager they're like, I'm going to get one over on you. Like they've got a WhatsApp group or something like that. Like Mbappe, Haaland, Bellingham, Pedri, those sorts of 4 players. They have a WhatsApp group all talking about their Football Manager saves. I think that'd be quite fun. But they must do. A lot of footballers play it. They must have WhatsApp groups where they
100%
bring Football Manager, just as we do with our friends, sort of thing. So
100%.
That's what would make me laugh quite a lot. To be fair.
It's Jordan Pickford just like sending screenshots of himself at Roma. Going, look, see, told you. It definitely happens.
That's the thing. You also never know who's watching as well. Maybe not the Twitch, but the YouTube. Like, you never know who's watching. And it's crazy because, again, like, even the football team in Cheltenham that I got, like, again, it was all because of, you're in the group chat. And I'm just like, friggin', But all of this is without you knowing that. Could be like months back without you even knowing. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. I seen your video on the. Because I remember, the scout, when the scout said, we watched your video in the doing their license, their UEFA license. I was just like, wait, what? There was actually people in there that had seen my video. I had to go back and watch that video. I was like, damn it, I wish I didn't say that bit. I wish I would have tweaked that bit. But yeah, you never know who's watching.
I quite like crazy. Not knowing who's watching YouTube videos because, like, for example, that Pentagon Challenge video with 1 million views. Like, if I suddenly was aware that Erling Haaland's watching that on the plane to Madrid or something like that, to fill his 2 hours of flight time, whatever like that, that's very just like, oh my god, that's a bit disconcerting. I kind of like the anonymity of it.
Thankfully, he's come out as a raw dogger, hasn't he? So it's not going to be Erling Haaland doing it on the plane.
Oh, is he a raw dogger?
He's a raw dogger, yeah. Of course he is. He's an absolute machine, isn't he? He doesn't need external stimulants.
I wish I had the metal to be able to do that, but I don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, same man.
No, I can sit and scroll on my phone watching the telly. I can't. I need 2 things.
Oh my god! I legit cannot go sleep without watching a YouTube video. It's just don't know. It's just part of me. I just need it. And now it's been a channel called Daily Fuel Up. It's just F1, and I'm just watching like the craziest crashes. I need that
before bed. You're watching the craziest crashes. Oh, nothing gets me to sleep like a really bad crash of a car.
I need the video. I need the subtitles, and I need
subtitles.
GTA 5 cars driving as well. That's what I need.
Oh wow!
I feel like this is taking a turn, and it took many turns throughout the whole episode.
I used to live in London, so when moving here, nighttime was bad because it was like dead silent here, and like you just lay down, and then people walking past your house, and you can literally hear the conversation, the bass in their voice, and everything. Where in London, it's just cars, just that's all you heard. But you don't really notice that in London until you move out. So yeah, there was a period I needed like Hoover or white noise in Cheltenham.
Wow.
I needed it. I needed some noise. I tried to be the TV, but sometimes it has to.
I need
my brain knows it's YouTube.
Sleep.
Nah. That's bad.
No, I can't. I've got that. I'm at the point now where as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm gone. I haven't got time to find something else on there. I'm too tired.
My body knows though. Like my body will go, and it will just wake up and like, that's not a YouTube video,
mate. When you get to 44, you're not interested in YouTube video, right? You're just like, get me to sleep. That's all I want to do. I was going to ask you a question about footballers playing FM though. Do you reckon they sign each other? Do you reckon like if you're Kylian Mbappe and you're playing and you load your game up, do you reckon he's the first going, I'm going to sign me? That's what I'll do.
Yeah, I like to think that. I like to think they back themselves that much that they want to sign themselves to the clubs.
I think so.
But I bet they must get frustrated when their in-game personality is like, I want £1 million a week. It's like, no, I'd take less than that, lad. I'd take less than that. I'll move to Stockport for £20 a week. I promise.
I can't. Someone's been interviewed and been asked, and they said they didn't. Like, I'm trying to. It's mad. I'm trying to think of myself. I don't think I could. Especially if I was someone with weak mentality as well. It's just, you're not getting in my team, no way.
Because there's also that bit as well in it when you look at your attributes and be like, oh, is that how they see me?
Yeah.
Is that how they see me? Like, it's a bit harsh. I've worked really hard this year.
Well, I think they need to do more of that, really. Cause I know FIFA make a big deal of it with Ultimate Team cards, right?
Yeah.
And I know they've done a bit
Madden
with,
as
like,
well, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've done some with Matoma, I think I remember, like revealing his
yeah.
attributes sort of thing. But they need to do more of that, I think, to help it sort of get to the sort of next level of popularity, I think.
So, again, in my head, it's just like in my head, I'm just thinking of that content creating things. Like, it's like literally, I think that our Football Manager content creators that can lead that sort of way for Football Manager, going around interviewing these people, what they think about their attributes and stuff. And that, in my head, I could just think there's great content, but again, that's just the content creating thing in me that I think it is. I don't know. Possibly.
No, I'm with you. Like, there's so many cool content ideas you can do with that kind of stuff, and it just needs someone to be able to do it. And I guess YouTubers sort of pushing up in terms of numbers that are getting to that sort of stage where that thing could be possible. But again, you sort of need like the blessing of Football Manager, which is notoriously difficult to get.
And then the blessing of the clubs as well, and the buy-in from the players. So imagine things like, 100%. All right, my acceleration, again, though, I'm quicker than him. Gone, all right, you two out there then. Right, let's do a race. Let's see who wins.
If you are targeting though those players that do play Football Manager, I don't think that shouldn't be a difficulty. 'Cause I can imagine again a lot of these players. Let's say there's a Griezmann. Many people in Atletico might not be playing this game, so he might be like one of us and wanting to share his story. Like, I can imagine there's some footballers who really want to. I wouldn't say go as far as they really want to share their story that they can't. That's what they think about. But if they got offered the chance to talk about Football Manager, for a lot of them anyway, maybe not everyone's so open, but for a lot of them, I don't see why not.
I mean, yeah, I love the idea of again, it's wishful thinking, but sitting down with Griezmann or Gundogan, right, and just doing a whole video and just talking about their save, and we just go through their save and like, so where did he start off in season 1? And Gundogan's like, I started off at Alfreton in season 1. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple of promotions, and suddenly I got a call from Shamrock Rovers who wanted me to give them a push in the qualifying rounds of the Champions League. So I thought I need to get some European experience, and just going through the whole save like that would be so much fun.
I need that. That's the thing. If footballers are going to play it, I demand they play it that way. Like, I don't want them to just be like, right, I'm Real Madrid and that's it. Like, I want to hear the story.
You don't want to hear from Griezmann then, because I'm pretty sure he uses that in-game editor.
I
remember that being a thing.
No, I want the full story. I want unemployed, no badges, like, absolute journey person careers. I want to hear about failure. I want to hear about how they hate certain clubs in Latvia because they've sacked them. That's what I want to hear about. Don't you talk to me about this story in second division. Like, I want that.
And there has to be some of it. There has to be. We just need the access to be able to get it out of them.
Yeah.
I want to get into one of those footballers like the when they have the massive pool room and they've got all the shirts up on the wall, and it's like, going, there's a Zlatan Ibrahimovic one. There's a Ronaldinho one. Oh, they've got a Pele one. Who's this one? Oh, he was a new gen on FM10. Like, I want that.
That would be the dream.
It'd be class, wouldn't it? Right, I think that's probably a fair place to end it. Obviously, we've got more stuff that we'll talk about on the Patreon bit, which comes next. But Tom, if people want to find more of your work, where can they find it?
Yeah, just on YouTube, TomFM. That's where I am. Mostly, there's the odd TikTok and stuff like that every now and again. TomFM on there. YouTube is where to find me.
YouTube's where to find you. Cool. Well, we'll have all the links in the description, of course, the socials as well. Aaron, we've mentioned Patreon. Go on, you can do it. I believe in you.
www.patreon.com/the FM Show Pod. That's patreon.com/the FM Show Pod. You can find us on YouTube just in case you're listening, and you can find us on Spotify just in case you're watching. Yeah, almost.
It was so close. We were almost there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I was thinking, no, don't tell me I've got that mixed up.
It's fine. I'm amazed we've got anyone who watches us. You can find us on the internet. Just search that football show that we like. Yeah, right. I tell you what, that's it then. Right. So remember, Patreon for extra bonus content, exclusive early access every single week, and more stuff as well from as little as £3 a month. And there's a free 7-day trial as well. So go and get yourself signed up, and make sure you follow TomFM as well, and check out all of his wonderful stuff. And we'll see you all very soon on the next one, where hopefully we all feel a little bit better and we can stay on track for just a little bit longer. Take care of yourselves, everyone. See you all next week. All the best. Bye now.